Desire. Da, 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 da. What is desires? What is your deepest, darkest desire? What do you want the most in life? What do you want? Want. Desire is something we have had since birth. I mean, we're born, we want to live, we breathe, we want the air, we want life, we want food, we want comfort. We desire to have meaning, to have purpose, to leave a legacy, to be nourished well, to live a good life. People have a lot of desires. Everybody have desires. I have a very strong desire for a lot of things. A desire to, in Chinese saying, they say 吃喝玩乐, which is saying eat, drink, sleep, fun, which is very important, I believe, in our society, not just society, but not just society alone, but also as an individual person. Having desire is what makes us human, desire to achieve something, desire to arrive somewhere, be somewhere, and desire to be ascended, desire to be different. Everybody have desires, and it is perfectly normal for us to have desires. I feel like sometimes religion or people speaking for religion have really made desire a bad thing, and especially these days where you are sometimes, in some society or some friend circle or some people will look down on you for having strong desires, and I feel like it's okay to have strong desires. What else would you do if you don't have desires? I want to be rich. I want to be at peace. Anything. I want to be loved. I want to love. It's all desires. And I believe desires usually come from the seven sins. In Christianity, there is the seven sins, which is pride, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, sloth, envy. All desire stems from one of those. It is normal, you have a grief for something, you desire something. When you're lazy, you want to have time. If you're hungry, you want to eat. Desires come from one of those, and they're not bad. I believe they're perfectly normal to have. Don't you agree? I have it. I believe that I am well aware of my seven sins. I don't think it's the right technique or anything to get rid of them or suppress them. If you suppress them, if you suppress your desire, one day it's just going to explode, right? So the trick or the thing to do is to transmute or feed your desires in a healthy way, Maintaining balance is the key. If you are lustful, you should chase for that, but not in a harmful way. You can do it in a very, healthy way or like a good way. You don't need to harm people to achieve or fulfill your desires. That is one thing that I also believe to be true. Problem is like sometimes these desires can go out of hand. So people will just do crazy things to, fulfill their desires. And that is when I think these sins are looked down upon. And most people when they do things right, there's always intent. There's always these intent that come from one of these seven sins, or I would just say seven desires, is the root cause of all things people do, When they do something like work, when they talk to people, when manipulators manipulate people, it's all from a certain desires, Could be insecurities, pride, There's also greed. Yeah. It is a good way to practice seven virtues as well, which is chastity, temperance, charity, kindness, patience, humility, and diligence. you can't just do all 7 virtues or 7 sins. It's like a balance between those two, you know. That's what makes you live a very balanced and very flowy life, you know. Live with the flow. And it's good to have a good balance in things. Desire something that everybody have desire. You have to find out what your true desire is, you know. You may want to do something at this moment, but there's a reason for having that desire. And there's also a way to fulfill those desires in a healthy way. Let's just say, you know, you want money or you want things, and what is that stemming from? You know, it could be a lack of something, or you just want to fulfill that piece of something. And if you realize that, you have figured out that, you know, you already have it, or it's not as extreme as you think, or you can go chase for it without destroying yourself. Right? Yeah. It can work that way. But yes, desire is what makes us human. And the limit of time in this world, right? We don't live forever. Makes fulfilling these desires much more worth it. Imagine if you live forever, you wouldn't want to, you know, you wouldn't have the urge or the urgency to fulfill your desires, would you? That's why fulfilling your desire during this lifetime that we have here is quite worth it. Yeah, go fulfill your desires in a healthy way.